on Bland.
Why you do it to him?
Oh, it's not fair.
Like, just putting it on.
Oh, yes. We all thought the same thing, CD.
That left foot was hitting that gas pedal multiple times, and it just couldn't land. It's happened to the best of them.
Didn't he have like 10 pick sixes in a season? Let's think of brighter days for Bland. He was awesome that year. He could not score a touchdown every play.
He was the only receiver, by the way, in the formation. Why is he singled up like that? Like, why does...
You're anticipating a run. You're on the goal line and you're anticipating.
Nobody else there.
Gotta earn your check on
I mean,
that
it
play.
looks worse than it actually is, like because he slipped.
It looks worse than anything, actually.
It don't get much worse than that.
It can't look worse.
I was going to say, like, are we going to try to church that one up? Like getting run over.
I'm saying, like, Brady's asking a question like it's a breakdown in coverage. Like, we all see what actually happened right there. Like,
that's called a Nolan Ryan on the offensive line. Swing and a miss.
My guy missed the ground.
No hitters.
That's what happened.
Nick, you said it. He had a lot of pick sixes.
Yeah, remember that? It was every play just going
Y'all
to the
fight for your man. Fight for him.
On we go to a new game. We'll talk more about the Cowboys and Cardinals as we go, but let's play bad game or bad sign because it was a weekend filled with upsets. Packers maybe suffering the worst of them all, losing at home to the Panthers. J-Mac, was this a bad game or a bad sign?
It was a bad sign for me. As you look at this Packers offense and Jordan Love taking chances down the field, throwing the ball into a team meeting. One got intercepted when he did so. Other ones were in traffic. And I think on top of not only the performance, they lost Tucker Kraft for the year. I think that is a bad sign for this offense and where we're anticipating they can get to as contenders in the NFC.
Yeah, let's underline that one a few times.
Yes.
I mean, whatever it is that happened on the field Sunday, nothing more significant than losing a guy who had been maybe the most productive tight end in the sport to this point. And so the word on the screen was used here on this set yesterday a few different times. Jeff, do we think the Green Bay Packers are frauds?
I don't think they're frauds. I think the expectations of a Super Bowl solely lie on Jordan Love. And I said this a week or two ago. It's going to be his accuracy that takes the Packers to where they want or not. And he had a good game, when he goes and plays Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers, he has a bet. But this is what he does. And there's, from a quarterback position, you need consistency each week, right? And you can't have arm punch. You can't have this kind of philosophy. And he did not play his best against a team that they should have won at home.
The throw there that Rex Ryan made a very big deal about yesterday. Nick, you were here for that. It's a first down play, and he just sort of throws it into a team meeting. This one here comes on a fourth down, and as you'll see, he throws it all the way across his body. And I mean,
these two plays have one thing in common where it feels like he's not actually looking.
Right.
Like he has decided that he's going to throw it. Like, I know it sounds funny, but I'm being serious.
Yeah.
Before this play started, he had decided, I'm throwing this post.
That's right.
And I don't need to find him. If it completes it, then we're like, oh, there's trust in the receiver. That other one, he's like, all right, I'm rolling left. There's nothing here. I'm going to throw it up.
Dan.
When they acquired Micah Parsons, Dan Orlovsky was sitting right here and said, I would tell my quarterback, Jordan Love, be as aggressive as you can because we have a defense that's going to make up for it if you make a mistake, get you the ball back. So I think the Packers were listening to Dan or had the same idea because obviously this is the way Jordan Love's going to play. I think it comes with him that he's going to take chances down the field. So bad sign. Tucker Kraft loss is a bad sign. He's their team leader in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns. They are going to have to adjust scheme-wise to get other guys available to make the explosive plays he has been making. I think this coaching staff can do it. You guys are looking at me like you think the quarterback's irresponsible, not aggressive.
Yeah, exactly. Irresponsible. Definitely, that's not aggressive.
Right.
That's not aggressive, right? That is throwing into triple coverage, not even seeing who's back there is not aggressive. Yeah, the only reason they're not frauds is because their defense. I'm being dead. They held them to. They held them to 100 yards past. It's not like the defense didn't do their part
in both games that they lost. That Browns game as well.
Yeah.
Let me try and get two more teams in quickly here. Lions also lost as a big favorite. Nick, bad game or bad sign?
Yeah, I think it's just a bad game. This team has been one of the more consistent ones over the years. You could argue that the way that they approach this game offensively is a bad sign, but I think it's something that they can fix, and they fixed their offensive issues before. Their players, their most talented players, are healthy, and they had some injuries across the O-line, but I think getting the ball to Gibbs, and J-Mo more often would help this team out.
Absolutely. And let me get my last one in because this is the one I really want to hear.
Yeah.
Jeff, your beloved Indianapolis Colts. That was a rough day. Was it a bad game or a bad sign?
It's a bad game. And listen, anytime you turn the ball over 6 times, I would minus 5, you ain't going to win many games in the NFL. But when you look at the biggest indictment of this game was the Steelers' defensive line got after the Colts' offensive line. Their edges got pushed. Daniel Jones got uncomfortable in the pocket. He made some throws that they took advantage of. The strip sack was a massive momentum thing, but this was Downs dropped it on a punt. Like there was a lot of things they were just sloppy penalties. They just weren't this. I think that's a bad game, not sign.
It's the first time we've seen this offensive line play poorly this year. So I think bad game. If we start seeing it,
sure,
or if they started having injuries there, or whatever, maybe a bad sign. But right now, I think they're not going to turn over 6 times in a game again.
Yeah. The offensive line issues also allowed to expose one thing. As much as we like the group of weapons that the Colts have, they have one guy in Tyler Warren that I think is unguardable, but the Steelers had someone who could neutralize him. It's so rare that you have a cornerback that's also big and physical enough to play against Tyler Warren. Right here, this is 3rd and 1.
Yeah.
That's Ramsey. And on all the man coverage situations, Ramsey was on him. Right there, that creates a field goal. Right here, this is Ramsey going in motion, and you look over there. Oh, I don't want that again. Gonna go back and just kind of blindly throw in the middle of the field and turns the ball over. Not everyone else. Most of the time, you have a man coverage matchup against Warren. He has the size, or speed, or physical advantage to get the job.
Here's the problem: is that there were just a lot of people around there who were just waiting for something like this to happen so they could say, see, that's the Daniel Jones. And he's going to have to overcome that with big performances in big games.
Yeah, and I think what we've seen from this offense, not only is he going to have to overcome that, but he's going to need the guys around him. That's why Daniel Jones has been so good. He's been able to manage this offense with a really good offensive line, some good weapons on the outside, and Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. And to Nick's point, when you talk about guys that can separate, it's probably time for them to start talking about adding A.D. Mitchell back into this offense because he's the guy that has that ability to separate.
I'll say this too. Shane Steichen, first game I've seen him get taken out of his game. Like 50, he threw it 50 times, like not enough Jonathan Taylor touches, right?
Kelly, a lot of fallout from Sunday's meltdown against the Bears. You know what happened. Bengals scored 15 points in 49 seconds, take a 1-point lead in the 4th quarter, and then gave up a ridiculous touchdown right there to Colston Loveland. After the game, Bengals running back Chase Brown said what absolutely everyone was thinking.
We know how they can play. They played really well at the start of the season. Like they did, and they were carrying us on their back. So, now that we're stepping up, I think we just got to play complementary football. Like we put the ball in the end zone and go up a point at the end, finish the game. Like just end it. Like that's it. Like that's what we need to do. Just end the game.
So we played that for you and reacted to it yesterday. I was very interested to hear how head coach Zach Taylor would respond to those comments. He did, saying he hopes they won't happen again. And then he went on to say this about his own offense.
We left a lot of points on the board yesterday. It was so again, we're talking a lot about the defense in here, but offensively, I was really disappointed that we didn't score more points. And that's frustrating that, when we have the opportunity to put more points on the board and not execute, could have found a way to win it that way, and then fix the problems that we're having.
Oh boy. Who wants this one first?
Like he's an offensive coach. Like, fair enough, you want to score on every single drive.
Right.
Zach, if you score 38, you should win the game.
You should win.
Like, I think that's the point your players are trying to make here. 38's a lot. They scored 42 the week before, and they didn't win that game either.
I
don't think it's the offense.
They've scored 80 points in the last 2 weeks and lost both games. The last time any team did that was 1966. Yeah. So I have to say, again, if I'm the coach of that team, do I believe that you want the running back calling out the defense like that? Obviously not. I have no problem with him saying that could have been handled better. But if I'm on the offense, don't come after the game telling about what we didn't do. Right. I'm going to have a problem with that.
Right. I agree. I think he was trying to just squelch it so we all need to do better. I think that was what Zach Taylor was going to do. Let me just say this about the Chase Brown comments, because I understand when you watch his full comments on what he just said, he talked about the offense struggling early and the defense picking them up. Then they make this trade and they do these things. They get this offense back and humming. And he's like, now when we do our part, you got to do your part. So I think he's taking ownership of both, which at some point, man, and the defense, by the way, a lot of the defensive players were not doing interviews post-game, which, again, means all the questions are coming to the offense. It gets frustrating. And I don't think he was singling out any player. He's more talking about total accountability. So, I mean, I don't love it, but I'm not going to, like, just bash on Brown for what
he started saying the right thing. You could feel it building. He was like, I'm going to say the right thing. Then eventually what I actually feel is going to build up and come out. You guys get a bleeping stop. And, like, sometimes in these situations, anytime you have a team like that, you think that you want to squelch it, you want to calm it down. Sometimes you get a little too close, and it has to blow up. And everyone comes back from that. Maybe some punches get thrown. It gets physical, but you come back from it.
That's what D. Wood said yesterday sitting here. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was a fight. Like, at some point, like, sometimes, you know, football players react to things. It's, as you said yesterday, it's not a normal workplace.
Right.
So, like,
No
sometimes, like, that builds up and you almost need, I'm not condoning it, don't get me wrong, but sometimes that's what has to happen.
Absolutely, because for the defensive players, you left and maybe you didn't do interviews, but by the time you got home, somebody in your group chat sent you that clip from Chase Brown. So you show up the next day at work and you walk up to him like, hey, Chase, you good? Like, do we need to have a conversation? I think for Chase Brown, some of that frustration can be directed upstairs at management. When you construct your team the way they have offensively and you pay both wide receivers, you pay the tight end to get second to come back, you pay the quarterback to come back, you get all of these guys on that side of the ball and you go extremely young on the defensive side of the ball and you're trying to build those guys up, it's going to be a roller coaster of a season where sometimes they are going to perform well and then sometimes they're going to give up a ton of points and a touchdown with seconds left and you're going to lose the game.
2 weeks in a row, like, learn your lesson quick, dog. Like, learn it quick.
The roster construction, I think, is a fair point, but I think this is also a reflection of the organization not having the financial flexibility to build their roster the way some other teams do. Like, I think the Eagles managed to do it with two high-paid receivers and a quarterback.
Cowboys, here we go. Game of the night, at least it was for Arizona. We got Dak and the Cowboys. We got no Kyler Murray for the Cardinals. And this game started the same way as a week ago. Cowboys go right down the field. This time they go for it on fourth down, Neek, and they get stuck.
Yeah, I love the aggressiveness in that situation. You get them pinned there, but you got to be able to finish.
And then on the other end of the field, J-Mac, what happened here?
Marvin Harrison Jr., this is what you call the 1-2 step. And just right in the end zone, Deron Bland. You're a Cowboys fan, just go ahead and cover your eyes.
Brutal. Cardinals up 10-0, and then Jeff, it gets worse for the Cowboys. Here's Jake Ferguson, and we're getting the ball on the ground.
Just trying to make an extra effort to get the first down. Doesn't, gets it knocked out from the back, and this is brutal. You felt a little bit of momentum for the Cowboys until this play. You felt like the whole air in the stadium let out. I think Stephen A. was a little smirk, by the way.
I'm out.
A little smirk.
Stephen A. spoke for us all, but then he left the box and he missed the best play. This is Sam Williams blocking a punt with his face, Graziano.
Whatever it takes, the offense not scoring.
He literally blocks it with his face.
Yeah.
Marshawn Nealon recovers. Jerry loves it. That's the only Cowboys touchdown of the first half, and the Cardinals were completely unaffected. They go right down and score.
Yeah, I mean, you get a block punt, you're normally going to win the game. A block punt for a touchdown. You got to be really bad in other areas to not win the game.
17-7 Arizona at the break, and then we got more. We got Michael Wilson. J-Mac, how would you describe the coverage here?
Nick just said, in order to lose the game with a block punt for a touchdown, you have to be really bad in other areas. That, my friend's an example of really bad in other areas.
Trap pass, two receivers, and it's wide open.
Two-man route.
50-yard gain, and then this is Trey McBride, who had 5 catches and that touchdown, and the Cardinals are up 24-7. Bear in mind, the Cowboys' only touchdown came on that block punt at this point. We're midway through the third. Here's Dak going down. This is Sweat gets him again. 5 sacks on the night for the Cardinals. First play of the fourth quarter, Domonique. The Cowboys going for it on a fourth down. How about this?
Yeah, you got to be aggressive on fourth down, but you got to be on time. I'm not sure it took them a while to get back to this read. Lamb is waiting for the pass to get their easy breakup.
Denzel Burke breaks it up. Jerry can't believe what he's seeing. Bear in mind, the Cowboys still have 0 offensive points. Now they kicked a field goal. Ryan Flournoy finally gets in the end zone here. So it's 27-17. 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Cowboys desperation time. Javonte Williams, that's going to get ripped out. Cowboys 3 turnovers on the night, anemic-looking offense, bad-looking defense, dominated in a game that was not as close as the final score would make it seem. 27-17 Arizona, and afterwards, frustration and disappointment in Big D.
Very frustrating. Knowing that you're better than that and going out there and not putting a performance close to your standard or even the expectations or what you thought you could do and expected to do against this team. And they kicked our ass and both sides of the ball, limited the possessions early.
Tremendous disappointing obviously for our fans. Thought we would play better than this. We just came out and they had a good game plan. Cardinals did. Very disappointing.
So earlier this morning, we said that the difficulty of doing a show on a day like this is that there's only so many different ways to say the Cowboys were terrible. So I decided I was going to look up synonyms of the word terrible, just so we could have more ways of saying it. So I thought that they were disturbing, threatening, redoubtable, spine-chilling, discouraging, hideous, weird, hair-raising, unnerving, daunting, dismaying, and I could go on because there are 276 different ways listed that one could describe what the Dallas Cowboys are.
The one word that I would add to that also was unlucky. Like last night, they had a bunch of these fumbles that went against them. In order for them to be successful, they're going to need the luck to break in their favor. I see Graziano doesn't like unlucky because they put themselves in this situation.
Counterpoint, they blocked a punt with their face and got a touchdown out of it. So that's a little bit of good luck.
So maybe not lucky, but
I don't think luck was the key factor.
Could I interest you in disconcerting, demoralizing, perturbing, appalling, disquieting, or horrid? Any of those?
Horrid. I like horrid. Horrid makes me feel the best.
That was a horrid performance by the Dallas. Right? I mean, and here's the thing. You've said it many times, and I've quoted you as saying it in other, again, we do 5 different shows a week here. So I've quoted you many times that it puts so much pressure on an offense to be perfect when the defense is so bad. But the truth is, and again, maybe this is just a sign of that pressure getting to them, but the Cowboys offense last night did not score a touchdown until the game was already over.
So let's talk about that, how much pressure you feel. First 4th down of the game, you go for it. Don't get it, don't convert, right? So now you're giving back. The next play you have Ferguson, next drive you have Ferguson fumbles it. Now all of a sudden you're down 10. Everybody in the building is going, what in the world is happening? Now you literally have to be perfect the rest of your drives. Knowing the defense is going to give up more points. They're not going to shut them out the rest of the game. So you understand now you have to come back. That's what I'm talking about, like being perfect, is it makes you go play conservatively, kick the field goal instead of go, which I like the 4th down call. But the bottom line is now you want to try to score to at least take some pressure off.
And I think the opposite side, like there's pressure on the offense to perform. Imagine what the defense feels like. The offense has the guys. Like you can say we got CD, we got George Pickens, we got Dak. On defense, they don't have anyone. That's even a different type of pressure because now when you go into this game last night and the offense don't get it on 4th down, then they turn the ball over. Defensively, you don't even have the answers to be able to stop people. So now you just have no shot to win this football game.
And I think one of the things about the way this roster is constructed is there are some teams that can win in a bunch of different ways. Like I think the Eagles are a great example. They can win in a bunch of different ways. It's hard for me to imagine a situation where this team gets down early because what they do well defensively is rush the passer. You put them in a situation where their defense isn't even allowed to do the thing that they do well. And so from then on, you're in a disadvantage going forward for the whole game. You're kind of backed up, and they had no answers. They got that block punt. The one thing that flipped in their favor, then they went back to stinking after that.
It was nightmarish, atrocious, grisly, monstrous, and macabre. I'm looking at the screen, and I understand. I'm not criticizing the choice of the word stunned. The truth is, this was not stunning.
No, but
the Cowboys were a 2.5-point home favorite against an Arizona team. This is stunning in perception only, because the perception is the Cowboys are right there and the Cardinals are bad. The truth is, if you watch them play, the Cardinals are right there
every game,
and the Cowboys are pretty bad.
Sure.
I think where they're stunned is they weren't able to do what they wanted on offense, and I think they usually are, right? They're going right down the field on their first possession. They can't cash it in. It's an Arizona defense that last night was better than it's been all year in terms of who was available. The 1st-round pick, Walter Nolan, that was his NFL debut. A pretty good one.
Hey, Trey Smith,
right?
You felt that one too.
Obviously,
oh, my word.
Josh Sweat feeling the impact of that. And so I think the Cowboys were stunned at their inability to score points in the way that they usually do, especially early in the game. And to your point, they don't have a counterpunch. There's no adjustment that they can make.
And I think the stunning fact of it was, think about it, the last time as a national media we talked about the Arizona Cardinals, it was the fact that they fumbled away a game against the Tennessee Titans and their head coach hit a player on the sideline. We haven't talked about the Cardinals since that point. So now seeing them on national television and they dominate a team that we talk about all the time, credit to them for showing up and beating the hell out of the Cowboys last night.
With their backup quarterback.
Yes.
Yeah. And it is commendable. I know that we're saying that the Cowboys aren't good. You have a list of words that.
Well, can I say that they are eerie, direful, dire, creepy, gruesome, fearsome, trying, forbidding, and troubling?
But you will use none of those words to describe their offense this season. So I think there is a credit to give to the Cardinals defense.
I have antonyms. Would you say that their offense is comforting, relaxing, soothing, calming, inviting, and consoling?
They were a little too calm last night.
That was the problem to the Cardinals defense.
They were too inviting to the defense.
Yeah.
But they fumbled a bunch of times, and that stuff, those sometimes are bounces. Of course, you work on ball security, but if you give away 3 whole possessions, they're not nearly good enough, because I don't think they're that much worse than the Cardinals. But in that situation, you give away 3 possessions, you steal one back with the block punt, but you're not good enough to overcome any sort of disadvantages.
We're not the only ones who noticed, obviously. Troy Aikman, Cowboys legend on Monday Night Football, after the game, after calling the game for us last night, had these thoughts.
It's not a good football team. I mean, Bill Parcells once said, you are what your record says you are, and their record says they're not a very good football team, and average at best. This is a big blow to this franchise and this team, because they really felt coming into tonight, playing Arizona at home, they've played well at home, that they would win this game. They've got the bye coming up, then they travel to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders, that they could kind of dig out of the hole that they had dug themselves. And I don't know what the trade announcement's going to be tomorrow, that Jerry Jones has announced that they've made one, but it's hard to imagine that guy, whoever it might be, is going to make a difference for this team. They're much further away than that. But that was all kind of predicated on being able to win this game and feel good about things as they go into the bye. But right now, there's not a lot to feel good about.
What that trade is, Dan?
They will acquire Logan Wilson, the linebacker from the Cincinnati Bengals, in exchange for next year's 7th-round pick. So this is a position where they've been looking for help, and this is a player on the Bengals that had seen his playing time drop. They have a rookie, Barrett Carter, they like better. So he had asked out, made a lot of sense. We'll see what else the Cowboys do today. If this only cost them the 7th-round pick, they're still positioned to make other moves to help their defense.
So that's what I always say.
Nobody had any reaction to that.
Well, when your defense is struggling, you've got someone who got benched on Cincinnati.
For the only defense in the league that's worse.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's why we're quiet, because no one wants to be disrespectful to Logan Wilson. Like, I'm sure he's a good player, and he's going to improve their defense. But what doesn't make sense is, why are you doing this now for this team that's going in the other direction? And this isn't a player that's going, like, they need to replace Micah Parsons. Like, they need to replace a game changer, and that's not what you think of when you see Logan.
I'll say this too, and far be it for me to offer any advice to Jerry Jones. He's a billionaire 100 million times over and incredibly smart and all the rest of that. But if you're going to tease a trade this much, it can't be this. If I go to a break saying, coming up next, we're going to have the biggest news in the history of mankind, and I come back and it is the Cowboys have traded a 7th-round pick for Logan Wilson, you're not going to pay attention the next time I tell you we have really big news.
That's why he's the best there is.
He is.
That's why
we were ready. He's better at teasing than I am. And that, so there you have
30 years of teasing. Let's go. Attaboy, Jerry.
I do think so bad. We should set aside some time very briefly this morning also, because someone said in this conversation that the Cardinals beat them with their backup quarterback. And he is their backup quarterback. But I think it does beg the question, when you watch them play, should he be?
I mean, when you watch them play the last 3 weeks with him as the starting quarterback, they have performed better on the offensive side of the ball. So when I say I believe that Jacoby Brissett should remain the starter, that's not to say that Kyler Murray at some point cannot regain and be the franchise quarterback. I just believe when you're in the locker room and you're on a team and you're the Cardinals and you're Trey McBride, you're Marvin Harrison Jr., and over the last 3 weeks, you're actually getting the ball and you guys are in position to score points, it's hard to take that guy out of the lineup.
We need to set aside more time for this, because I'm going to ask a question and then we're going to come back and do it. Jerry, take notes. This is how you do this.
Give it to him.
Is there one thing worse than not having a quarterback, and that is being committed to one who isn't actually going to be the guy?